my fellow readers. Today I am going to talk about the Misfit of Demon King Academy. History's strongest demon king reincarnates and goes to school with his descendants. So, unfortunately, all that I can talk about is the first 4 volumes of the manga series. The light novels, as far as I remember, at least in traditional print publishing, have not been released in the States. But they did release the manga adaptation. But unfortunately, the creator of the adaptation passed away. And so all we have are the first 4 volumes. I sort of picked it up because I knew that it was limited, and I think a good majority of these were on Book Outlet. So I got them for a discounted rate, and then I picked up whatever wasn't on like Amazon or something. And a big reason for that is because I saw there wouldn't be any more, and I figured I'd give them a try because why not? Like that's purchasable, right? Just 4 volumes. And I want to see what they were like. So I'll very quickly read the back, and then I'll talk about my thoughts about this portion of the series, and maybe whether or not I would like to see the light novels actually get a print treatment here. So, what if you were the strongest demon king in history, but nobody believed you? Anoth, the demon king of tyranny, has defeated humans, spirits, and gods alike. But even demon kings get tired of all the fighting sometimes. Hoping for a more peaceful life, Anoth decides to reincarnate himself. When he wakes 2,000 years later, though, he finds the world has become too peaceful. His descendants have grown weak, and magic is in serious decline. Intending to reclaim his rightful place, he enrolls in a Demon King Academy, where he finds that his magical power is off the charts. Literally. They can't measure his power, so he's deemed to be a misfit. With the support of Misha, the one student he manages to befriend, the Misfit Demon King begins his climb up the demon ranks. So, overall, I did enjoy this, and I wasn't sure how much I would, especially when you start seeing the bevy of girls, this one's not, surrounding him. But at least, I think it was in the first 3, it tells a pretty complete story. So I almost feel like there's, of course, no way to know or predict or do that. But, like, if they had been chunked there, it would have been a very complete. Whereas I think once it gets into 4, we're left, obviously, saddened to not be able to continue the story. However, I just want to go back to what I did like about it. So I do think it's interesting that you have this main character who, in the beginning, we're back in the, years of his reign. And he meets this hero character, and they kind of get along. And there's this thought that, like, maybe if they were reincarnated, things could be different or whatever. And I don't know if it's just his boredom, whichever. Anyway, he ends up getting reincarnated. However, in the years since he has been gone, it's like history has been rewritten, and that's what he discovers, is that he goes, he gets reincarnated, and he grows very quickly, which is so weird. So technically, like, the student that's going to this school is like an infant. Like, he was born, and he's like, oh, I don't want to be this age. So he ages his body up, like, instantly. And it's kind of disturbing. Like, it's neat because he has these powers, but it's also like, ew. Now he's older, but he's a baby, and his poor parents. It's so weird. I mean, they're very chill. They're just like, oh, that's good. And, like, when he brings a girl home, they're like, good for you, son. And then he brings a pretty boy home, and they're like, okay, also good for you, son. It's very weird. A little bit comical, which I enjoyed. But when he ages himself up, he's like, okay, I'm back. I'm the Demon King. Obviously, everybody's going to remember me and respect me. And he starts to go to the school part, and everybody's like, whatever, what are you? Who are you? And he tries, like, giving his name, and everybody's like, I don't know who you are or what you think that means, but it doesn't mean what you think it means. And then as he's, like, going to the school, because he obviously does get in, he's the misfit, he discovers that who they're saying is the Demon King is not him, like it's not his name. So he doesn't know what happened. How did the past get twisted? Who is this other person? And I think that becomes a big part of it. Now, in the first section that I was talking about, it's kind of a complete story. We meet these two sisters. So obviously it was like, oh no, is this going to be that traditional hijinky stuff? But it actually becomes a very sweet little story about, I don't know, I guess what it is to be like a family and being sisters, because they're not just sisters. There's a whole story behind that. And it was like, should the one not exist for the other because of how the creation was? But neither one of them, it was just sweet, and I don't want to give it away. But yeah, I liked that part of the story and getting to see them. And then of course we start a new story, part of the story arc, and it ends. And then you're like, oh, well, that's kind of sad. And it is kind of sad. It's sad that the adapter passed away, and there's nothing that you can do about that. Obviously it happens. But I am going to miss, the artwork and the adaptation of this. I do hope that they release in print version, and who knows, maybe by now when I've done it, like they already have it. It's like, duh, it already exists. But I do hope we get the light novel translation of it, because sometimes we don't get the light novel version. Like, I've said this before, I'd also like to get the Other Worlds books Depend on the Bean Counter released here. And then this one, I think. I don't know if there's like a licensing issue so that it hasn't, but I would kind of like to see the rest of the story and see where it goes. So, I don't know. Here's hoping. I'm sad we won't get the manga version, but could we at least get the original light novel? I don't know. I would recommend, if you can find these, picking them up and giving them a read. I did enjoy the story. I liked the artwork. I think if you are a fan of light novels and the whole like reincarnation story, that you're probably gonna like these. It reads well. It's kind of fun. There is that interesting plot of wanting to know like what happened in the past, who has taken on the role of the Demon King, why did they change history and all that jazz. Like, it's all really fun, and I think if you're into these types of stories, you're going to like the Misfit of Demon King Academy, and I'm not going to get into the whole subtitle. Would recommend these. That is it for this video. Until next time, bye.